All right. So our next topic is going to be MLB baseball predictions for the 2021 season. We're both pretty big baseball fans, grew up playing the game, grew up watching the game. And we just want to make some predictions because today, not when this is coming up, but when we're recording this, is opening day for the spring training games. They're all underway now. Some of them have already finished. Some of them are just beginning. And we just want to throw out our predictions and maybe revisit them in the future or mid-season or even the end of the season. So let's begin with the
Great.
AL East.
Yeah. So for the AL East, I had as my number five team the Orioles. Um, the Orioles have not been good for a while. They won. They won a pennant or not a pennant. They did well in the postseason a while ago in the early 2000 teens, but they just not have made any improvements to their team to me. I think that uh, Chris Davis's awful slump just describes this team in the fullest. I actually don't mind the Orioles. I've been to their stadium. Unfortunately, not for a game, but I've been to Utah Street there, and it's quite a nice place. I don't mind the Orioles, but I can't put them high up on this list at all. What do you think, Phil?
I agree. I think the Orioles aren't going anywhere. I don't have anything against Baltimore. I just don't think they're going anywhere. The only way I see them not coming fifth is if the Red Sox tank, and I could see that happening again.
Right, I can see that happening too, and we'll just type that in right now.
Yeah,
With
and
the
I
Red
think the
Sox,
Red Sox would be in fourth, and I think that's interchangeable, honestly.
right? I think that the Red Sox have really dug themselves deep into the hole. They have a good amount of World Series in recent history. I am biased, obviously. You can see behind me with being a Yankees fan, but the Red Sox have really dug themselves into a hole with losing Mookie Betts. They have decent offense. JD Martinez, I think, will have a little bit better year than he has been, um, along with Bogarts. And
I think
I think
Devers is like the sole team, though.
right, yeah, um, yeah, Bogarts, Devers. I think that their real downfall is their pitching. Their pitching is atrocious. Um,
Even with the pickup of Adam Ottavino or
right,
Adovino with from the
yeah,
Yankees, I just don't see them going anywhere.
right. I mean, I think he'll help. He was decent on the Yankees, but
A
but
relief pitcher
one
isn't
man,
going to help.
right, one man in the
Yeah,
bullpen isn't going to change anything,
for sure.
honestly.
And,
So
and I'm personally a pretty big Red Sox fan. I mean, I'm a Nationals fan first, but I do like the Red Sox. I especially hate the Yankees, but
I know,
I'm gonna have to put the Red Sox down there 4 or 5.
right? Okay. So for the third team, middle of the way for the AL East, I'm gonna put as the Blue Jays. Now
Ooh,
this is up for debate here because obviously the last two teams that we've yet to talk about are the Yankees and Rays, and the Blue Jays are known as an up and coming team here. They have a lot of young talent. I watched the game today where they whooped up on the Yankees, but granted, it's spring training. um, but I think that Vladimir Guerrero is going to have a little bit better of a year. I think Bo Bichette's going to have a little better of a year. I think that the I think that the signing of George Springer is also going to contribute a little bit, but I do not see the Blue Jays contending for the top spot in the division. I could see them contending for second, however you want to put it there.
I
But
I I personally have the Blue Jays as a contender for second place. I just think, especially the Rays, I don't know how the hell they made it to the World Series last year. I don't think they belong to go there. I think taking Blake Snell out of the game was the stupidest decision. I also think trading Blake Snell was the stupidest decision.
I
I have the
agree.
Rays at number 3.
You have the Rays at number three. Okay. I have the Rays at number two. How do you want to put this in?
I
I'm
don't think it matters because I think it'll be a race at no matter what.
okay. Yeah, I think that Kevin Cash made an awful decision with taking Blake Snell out of the game. Of course, which we all know, only on a low amount of pitches for a postseason caliber game like that. And I think
talk about throwing the series. My God.
Right. He threw it, but you got to give him some credit because would the Rays have been there without him? I think that Ji-Man Choi is a great player. I don't think he's World Series caliber.
Oh,
I think that the rest of their team are halfway decent players, and they have such a low salary on their team. It is quite amazing that they got there. But I feel like if the Rays really want to be a contender, they're going to have to spend some money. I think that that's the sole thing. They opened up space. They've had space open, believe me, but they've opened up space, getting rid of Blake Snell, and I just don't see it happening with the Rays. I think that they were in an underdog position last year, and I think they're even in more of one this year. So,
I honestly think they blew their chance. I think they're done.
I agree with that. I think they're still a solid team. I think they're going to have some real production guys there, but I don't see it. And then obviously,
I'm not going to say it. You can't make me say it. I'm not going to say it.
The Yankees are in a really good spot to winning the AL East here. I don't like the situation they're in for the future. I think that Stanton's contract is going to hurt. I think that Cole's contract is going to hurt. I really like LeMahieu's contract. I really like signing Brett Gardner again. I personally think they're going to stick with Judge. I think he'll re-sign when he needs to, but I think this is the year for the Yankees to really clamp down on the AL East because with the exception of the Rays, maybe, and the Blue Jays, if they have some massive breakout year, I don't think that there's another contender. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but I like to think I'm a little bit in the right saying that they're gonna do well this year. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, I hate the Yankees, but I have to say they're gonna win the AL East. I think for sure they will. I mean, and with signings like Corey Kluber and Jameson Taillon,
right.
That's just big. That's going to help their bullpen. Both older players, but
well, yeah, they've both helped their bullpen and they've both helped their starting pitching with Kluber and Taillon. How they use them is still yet to be determined. Obviously, Garrett Cole's going to be the starting.
Oh yeah.
Luis Severino still injured, but he's right there to come back in the beginning into middle of the season.
They got rid of Paxton, so
they did get rid of Paxton. The main problem that everyone's been saying about the Yankees is their starting pitching is being awful, and that's simply true. And the Yankees went out and did what they had to do. They got their halfway decent starting pitching, so I have high hopes. I think it still might be a little bit of a rough year with having some veterans on the pitching staff who may be past their prime, but I still think they still have some gas left in the tank there.
Yeah, I definitely think they'll be beneficial to the Yankees, and based on the other four teams in that division, I don't think anybody else is going anywhere. I have to say it, Yankees on top.
All right, so for the AL Central, which is very big up for debate, who do you have in last place here?
I gotta go Detroit.
Detroit, okay.
I just don't think they had that great of a season, and I don't think they did enough to fix it.
Okay. I had Detroit in third place this year.
Okay.
I think that Detroit, so maybe we can come to a compromise here and put Detroit right in between, I think.
I agree.
So I think that having Casey Mize, having a pretty decent farm system is really going to help Detroit in the future years here. I think the worst of it is behind them. I definitely think that the AL Central is a pretty weak division this year. When you mix in the Royals, when you mix in the Tigers, when you mix in the Indians with everybody they've lost, I think Detroit having a young team in comparison to their young team is definitely going to help them coming up. For last place, I had the Royals. Can we agree with putting them last?
Yeah, they were my number 4 spot, but yeah.
Okay. So I think the Royals are going to be in last. I don't see anything here. Pitching's awful. Offense is awful. Bullpen isn't awful, but
It's
with
not
nothing else,
good.
it's not good, definitely. But um, their World Series team was really promising when they went to the World Series, and then eventually they won. And I'm really happy for the Royals for that year. I don't mind the Royals. I really like them actually, but they again it's the issue of just like not being able to get the good player here, get a good contract on somebody. I personally thought that the Royals were going to have a really good chance of signing Arenado.
Yeah.
He ultimately went to the Cardinals, but I think that that was a really good chance that the Royals didn't really do too much in. So, what do you think about that, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think if you're in Kansas City, stick with the Chiefs because the Royals aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. At least there's something okay coming out of that city in terms
Yeah.
of sports. So,
I would say my third place is going to be the Indians.
Indians, that's who I have too. So again, promising a number of years back with postseason success and all that,
They did,
but
yeah.
there's just nothing. There's nothing
Yeah.
there,
But I
honestly.
do think with Detroit and Kansas City, I don't think they'll come in last, but
Right.
I don't see them coming in anything higher than 3.
Okay. Yeah. I I think that a lot of their players, like Brantley, gone a long time ago. Um, Lindor out to the Mets. That's a
Yep.
big loss. I
That's
think
a
the Indians.
huge loss.
That's a huge. Yeah, completely. I think the Indians need to go into rebuild mode, and I still think that with their halfway decent farm system, they they need to capitalize now if they want to be relevant again and not fall into a trap like the Orioles and the Royals of not being relevant and not having a great farm system. I think there's hope for the Indians for the next 10 years, but
Yeah, I mean,
you got it.
Cleveland had that nice stretch of championships, both basketball, baseball, and then
Right.
they just fell off the map.
Yeah. Okay. So number 1 and 2, what'd you have here?
I gotta go White Sox at 2.
Really?
I
I had
think
it the other way.
I had the Twins going number 1.
Okay. I think I'm gonna change to that. I had the White Sox at number 1, and we can talk about it.
I mean, I think it'll be close for sure, but I think the Twins have just been playing real well in the last couple of years, and I think they can do it again this year.
They have. They've had some really good players, especially in Max Kepler. Uh, just a great all around player there. Um, I was living in Rochester like for the past multiple years. The farm system has uh been the Red Wings with being the Twins farm system.
Almost our
Uh,
entire lives, yeah.
yeah, obviously switching to the Nationals this year, but I think that the Twins have finally utilized that farm system and have gotten some good homegrown players, uh, which is something that a lot of teams don't really do that well. Um, I'd like to say a lot of the strengths of the teams that did well that last year, like the Rays and the Yankees and the Dodgers, the things that they've done well is home grow guys, and I think that the Twins have finally gotten the idea of that. Same with the White Sox, though. They have Luis Robert. They have Eloy Jimenez. These are all good, really young players. I really like the talent on both these teams. But I think that you're right, Phil. I think that the Twins are definitely a little closer to this particular team's prime than the White Sox.
I definitely agree. I think it's going to be a close race between the two of them, and I think even the Indians might make a push this year if they really try. But I think Twins are going to be on top.
Right. I think that this division's pretty wide open, honestly. There's two obvious teams, and then you're right with the Indians and maybe even Detroit in there doing well, maybe making a wild card run. Um, I think this division is going to be really interesting to watch, and I think we're going to be wrong just based on all the other options that this could come out as.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, let's move on to the AL West then. Another division that's a little bit low right now. I don't see a glaring team here, but I think that it's pretty obvious on who last place is. Am I right? I think we're gonna have the Rangers in last place.
Yeah,
here.
I mean that's no doubt. They just what the hell are they doing down there?
I think that since the past 10 years have gone by, it's just been a slow downward spiral here. I personally don't know what their farm system's like. I'm gonna be honest there. We can look that up in a bit, but they don't have many good players. They were pretty good back with the whole rivalry with the Blue Jays, with Jose Bautista and Elvis Andrus. That was really fun to watch. I don't mind the Rangers. I think they're a really fun team to watch. I think their new stadium is going to bring in a lot of fans. Unfortunately, their first good season that's going to be relatively open with COVID is going to be with a little bit pinch of salt with how bad they're going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree. They had one of the worst records last year. If not the worst. I think the Pirates had a worse record, and so the Pirates.
Right. Okay. So who do you think for number 3 and 4 area?
A's and Mariners.
A's and Mariners. Okay. I had the Mariners at 4 as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Kyle Lewis, he's pretty good young talent, but I think that since Felix Hernandez is gone, I think that era of the Mariners is over. Just really solid pitching wise. I don't mind the Mariners. I want to see them succeed. They are not a typical high winning team, but
no, they aren't.
I don't see the hope there currently. It's unfortunate, but I think I don't think they have much of a chance to improve from number 4. So you had the A's as number 3.
I do.
I had the A's as number 1, which was one of my picks here. I'd be okay with moving the A's to number 2, but I can't move them all the way to number 3. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, I could agree with that.
I think that Matt Chapman, Matt Olson are really in the prime of their career right now. And I don't think it's going to last for much longer in Oakland. I think that the Moneyball system works to an extent. They've had a lot of success going to wild card games.
But not much past that, though.
Right. I think that almost any team could always make a case for being a wild card team, but it's really the big money players and the big time players that get you to the DS and the CS and the World Series furthermore. So, okay, the A's at number 2 then.
So I don't think the A's are going to do that well this year, just without Semien and Hendricks.
This is true.
I think those are big losses.
Semien's a big loss. Yeah,
they had a great push last year. I just don't see it happening again.
Okay, fair enough. We can talk about that again when we get into who our wild card teams are going to be.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah. So
the next question is, who do you have at number 3?
Okay, so because of the shuffle here, this is going to pain me to say this, but I'm going to put the Angels at number 3 and the Astros at number 1.
No way.
You don't think?
No, I personally think that the Angels are going to have a good year this year.
Okay.
I think with the addition of my boy Kurt Suzuki, great pickup. But Mike Trout, I mean, come on, get him a championship.
I had an argument against this, and I think that Mike Trout greatest player in the game right now, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we're getting into an issue here that the Rockies were in with Nolan Arenado. One good player, really high salary, can't go anywhere with the rest of the team.
I don't know, though. They do have Tony Rendon, who's pretty good hitter. I mean, his fielding's okay, but I mean, he can whack the ball.
I agree that they have good hitters on their team, and I agree that they have halfway decent people, but I feel like for a postseason run, I mean, it's a simple case of like, this is baseball. There are 9 hitters. There are 9 players on the field, and Mike Trout can't do it all. But I'm gonna be a little lenient. I'll go with it.
Okay.
I'm excited for when we do our video, our podcast for the next time around, in the middle of the season and then at the end of the season, hopefully, about where this division actually turns out. Because like the AL Central, I feel like this is pretty wide open.
I do too.
So I don't like talking about it. Astros, we'll put them at third.
Yeah,
they don't
we'll just skip over.
Yeah, we're just gonna I hope they get in last. I hope the Rangers beat them.
I hope they just get kicked out of the league. Like, go bang on trash can somewhere else. Moving on, NL East.
Right. Okay.
Who do we think is going to win the NL East? Give me a second here.
You're good. I think that the winner of the NL East is going to be the Mets.
Yeah, me too.
And not the Nationals.
I agree with that, unfortunately.
I think that Lindor coming there, amazing pickup.
Yeah.
I feel like Pete Alonso is going to have a little bit better of a year than he did. That was
a great player
last year.
Yeah. He can play a lot better than that.
Right. And then pitchers, DeGrom, Syndergaard. I think that's pretty shut down lights out.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Mets, no doubt, will win the NL East. It pains me to say it that the Nationals won't, but that's what I think.
Okay. So, number 2, who are you thinking?
It's going to be
no. Let's do it differently. Where do you think the Nationals are going to go? We'll put this in first.
Okay. So, I think it's going to be a tight race between the Nationals and the Braves for number 2, 2 and 3.
For 2 and 3. Okay.
I think the Braves do have a great team, especially with Freddie Freeman. Right. Love the guy. But I honestly don't think the Braves can get it done this year. And I think the Nationals, with like new pickups such as Josh Bell, I think that's going to make a huge difference, as well as a lot of veteran players. Yeah, they're not going to be able to go for the long run, but might as well have a good season. I personally have the Nats at 2.
Okay. I was in a similar situation with something between 2 teams. I think that the Braves are going to be in second, and then the third spot is going to be a fight between the Marlins and the Nationals.
I don't personally see the Marlins having that great of a year this year. I think they had the run, and it was kind of like a one and done kind of thing. I think they had a great year.
Perfectly acceptable opinion. Yeah, perfectly acceptable opinion there, because the Marlins have not been good at all the past few years. I think that their downfall was getting rid of Yelich and Stanton and their whole outfield. That was bad. That was really bad. I think that the Marlins had a little bit better of a season than anybody would have thought due to the shortened season with COVID. I think that they're a group of really talented, young, scrappy guys. And I feel like if they get some discipline in them, I feel like if their coaching does their job, I feel like in the next 5 years, honestly, a World Series championship team.
For sure. I just don't see it happening anytime soon.
Fair enough with that. And then last place. I know you're an ex-Pirates fan and still kind of a Pirates fan.
Pirates aren't in the NL East.
They are not. They're in the Central. Phillies. Yeah. The 2 Pennsylvania teams, I always mix them up. My bad. We'll just put the Pirates over here for now. We're going to talk about them later. Pirates.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's
Phillies.
quite
Yeah,
obvious.
sorry about that. The two P teams, both Pennsylvania. So the Phillies, Bryce Harper, not what they hoped, honestly.
Bryce Harper has been very disappointing for the Phillies. Honestly, if he was going to continue with that in Washington, I'm glad he's gone. I
Right.
remember one of the first games he played back at National Stadium. I remember booing the crap out of him with all the other fans. It was one of the greatest moments of my life.
I think that that's a lot of wasted money.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think that Bryce Harper is basically a sped up version of Aaron Judge. Really young slugger at the start. Aaron Judge, he's still in his prime, obviously declining though. Bryce Harper was really young, not in his prime anymore, declining a lot quicker.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that the Phillies are going to be bad for a while, and I'm probably going to eat my words on that. But
yeah, I agree.
Okay,
we go down together on that one.
Okay, so NL Central, we have the
now
Pirates.
We talk about the Pirates.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Last Pirates, place.
Just no talent. Like simple.
They had talent, and then they
had talent. Josh Bell traded him. He was their pride and joy. Jameson Taillon traded to the Yankees. I get where they're going with this. They're in rebuild mode. That's perfect.
100%. They're not going for anything right now.
Yeah.
They don't want to win anything.
How do you feel about your ex-team at this point? Are you still a Pirates fan or?
Yeah, so I grew up a Pirates fan. My first ever MLB game was going to PNC Park. I think it's a beautiful stadium. I think it was an awesome experience. Mm-hmm. But I think that team back then with McCutchen was a pretty good team, but I don't see them going anywhere now. Like you said, they're definitely in a rebuilding stage. I don't think they're aiming for any trophies right now. I think they're just trying to get a solid foundation back. And I think in the future, if it works out, I think they're making the right decisions here.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. How are you looking at the rest of this division here?
Oh, I think probably the Brewers might be in fourth place.
Fourth place. Okay.
And I only say that because I still think the Cubs and the Reds can play and have a chance. I personally think the Cardinals are going to come out on top.
I'll agree with you on that. I had the Brewers in second.
I think it's going to be a tight race for the middle three anyways, so I'm fine with that.
I think it's going to be Reds in second.
I do too. Like, they lost Trevor Bauer, but I still think they have a solid team there.
I think so too. I think that they're, again, a young, scrappy team. I don't think they're postseason caliber whatsoever, but I think the Cubs are just washed. I think they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I think that this should have been the off season and still might be the year where Chris Bryant or Anthony Rizzo gets dropped. I don't think that there's anything special that's going to happen there.
Yeah, I don't know why they're holding on to Chris Bryant.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think just like we talked about with Bryce Harper, he's just wasting the money. I like him. I think he's a good player, or he was a good player, but I don't think he belongs in Chicago.
I think they got the World Series that they need to really revive that fan base. Sure. One note about the Brewers, actually. I think the Yelich is still going to be really good.
Oh, me too.
I think that there's no team to help them there. The farm system, I believe, is the worst in baseball. But, I mean, obviously better than the Cubs and the Pirates, but
yeah,
no run there.
I don't see them doing anything.
Right. Okay, last division, NL West. Who you got on top?
I got a really close race going either way between the Dodgers and the Padres. I think the Padres already had a good team last year. I think adding Yu Darvish and Blake Snell to the rotation, I think that's big. But then again, the Dodgers, coming off a World Series win, adding Trevor Bauer to their rotation. I think that's also a big pickup. Also, the re-signing of Justin Turner.
Right. I think that with that and me thinking the Dodgers are definitely going to be first, I think we'll put them on top there, and then the Padres second.
Yeah.
I think the Padres are definitely going to outscore or be better than the Dodgers in the next few years. But I think the Dodgers are still going to have that overpowering type of team with Mookie and Justin Turner and Trevor Bauer, in addition to an already really good rotation with Kershaw and May. I think that the Dodgers are going to make another run at the World Series. I don't think they'll win it this year. I think that their run is going to be over, but that'll be a story for when we get down to the bottom.
Yeah.
So the Padres again, Blake Snell, Clevenger, re-signing of Tatis. It's going to be huge. They're going to be really good, I think.
Tatis is one of the greatest young players playing the game right now, for sure.
Right. Okay. 3, 4, 5. What were you thinking? I'm thinking the D-backs for 3.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree with that. I don't see the Rockies having a good season, and the Giants are the Giants. They're trying their best, but they're just not getting it done.
How do you think about this? I think the Rockies could be last.
I agree.
Okay.
I don't think the Rockies are going anywhere. The Giants, they're gonna have a decent season, but not good enough.
I think the Giants are full blown in rebuild mode. I think that's really good. They had really good success in the 2000s and 2010s. Yeah. I think that this stunt is seen coming by a lot of people, but they've been bad for a few years now. I think that the Rockies are the first team to go below them. I think the D-backs is next. I think that the Giants are going to start to climb again. Who knows if they'll be as good as the Padres and the Dodgers, but I think that they're
I don't think they can go there, but I do think they could challenge the D-backs for 3.
Right. Okay, so this is our initial list here. We're going to revisit this probably multiple times throughout and at the end of the season.
All right, so now we're going to talk about who we think is going to be moving on to the wild card rounds in both the National League and the American League, followed by the Divisional Series, Championship Series, and then the World Series. So let's get started with the American League. I mean, so the Yankees, Twins, and Angels are out because they're obviously going to move on to the Divisional as the winning in their division.
Right, and when we'll talk about that a little bit when we get to it, but so we're looking at some teams here in the second place and third place. What are we thinking here? This is a big choice. I definitely think the White Sox are going to be one of them.
I personally think the Blue Jays belong up there.
The Blue Jays. Okay. All right. So going against what we looked at, so we should probably change this up here.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. I mean, I was pretty up in the air about this. And then we'll put them here. All right. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So those are going to be – so those teams are then going to play for the final spot in the ALDS, which we'll talk about in a sec. But National League now, wild card. I think that this is pretty obvious, honestly. I think we're going to have the Padres.
The Padres, yeah, for sure.
Second one.
That's a bit of a tougher question.
I think it's going to be the Braves coming off.
Me too. I don't think the Reds have enough to get it done. I don't think the NL Central is as strong as the NL East this year. I definitely think the Braves can make a good run in the wild card.
Right. I think that the Braves had a really good run last year. That looked really promising. I could see them doing it again.
Yeah.
Honestly, really good team there. So now on to our ALDS and NLDS. We put these teams in order based on how well we spoke of them the last time around when we were doing our MLB predictions in the last segment. And we put them in order, being the Yankees being the top, Twins, and then Angels for the ALDS. But Phil, which one of the wildcard teams do you think are going to go to the ALDS?
I gotta say White Sox.
Okay.
I think they're a stronger team. I think they have more potential. I mean, I could look like a complete idiot come October, but I definitely think the White Sox, as of right now, have potential.
Right. I agree with you. So yeah, that I definitely, I don't think the Blue Jays are going to go far in the playoffs. They're just not there yet.
No,
Keyword yet. I think they will be, but all right. And what do you think for the NLDS?
I mean, I gotta say Padres. I think the Padres Dodgers is going to be the closest race in the NL West. I think that's going to be the closest race throughout the league. I think that's definitely something to keep an eye out during the season. Is the Padres Dodgers?
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. That it's going to be really fun to watch. I think that that's going to turn into a big rivalry.
Yeah, for sure.
Out west there. Okay. ALCS.
We got some decisions to make here.
We do. So it'll be the Yankees against the White Sox.
And then Twins Angels.
And the Twins Angels.
I know who you're going to pick between Yankees, White Sox, and I mean,
you have to. The White Sox aren't that good.
Yeah, I hate to see it, but I have to agree.
The White Sox aren't that good. And I already see going down the line to the World Series how this is going to turn out, and I really like it. But we won't get there yet. The second team, who are you thinking? Twins, Angels?
I want it to be the Angels, but I think it's going to be the Twins.
I'm in the exact boat as you. I want to see the Angels go far, but the Twins. Now, this sets up a really, really cool series like we saw a few years ago with Aaron Hicks robbing the extra base hit. I think the Yankees and Twins is a really fun series. Two completely dynamically different teams there. But we'll talk about the winner of that in a second. NLCS. I think Mets Padres. That's if this happens, that's going to be a really fun series to watch.
That's going to be a tough series to call. I think both teams have a lot of potential there to win that series.
I think the Mets.
I mean, you can flip a coin, honestly.
I think the Mets are going to overpower them. Yeah, I think the Mets on the pitching side are going to overpower them. Honestly.
Yeah, and I think the Dodgers will beat the Cardinals, no doubt.
Yeah. We'll go with that there. I feel
Mets,
like the Cardinals put out a
good
fight, but yeah, Mets and Dodgers and Yankees and Twins. That is a powerful championship round there.
That is.
I'm gonna let you say the first word on ALCS to avoid bias on my part. I want to hear your thoughts before we get into accusations here.
So I definitely think both teams have the potential to make it. Both teams do have some weaknesses as well. But I do think the Yankees I think they've made the right moves, and I think they've done enough to get to the World Series.
I agree with you there.
I hate saying it. I'm going to go wash my mouth out with soap, but the Yankees are going to the series.
I think so too. I think that the window is closing though. I think
do too.
5 years down the line, there's going to be a consistently third place team with a lot of money owed.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of sports these days with high salary teams. I think that they should have won in the past few years. At least should have gone to the World Series more dominantly.
Well, you can thank the Astros for that one.
I can thank the Astros for that one. I don't feel too bad about that one. But I think the harder choice is the NLCS.
I do too. That's gonna be one hell of a game.
This is
or
going to be
series.
this is going to be a good series with a lot of good games. I was thinking when we were doing our NL West that the Dodgers are going back to the World Series indefinitely. But the Mets pitching is
No,
just so good.
the Mets has just put together such a great team. Would
Like,
it be a New York World Series? Could it
that's what I
happen?
meant. That's what I meant when we were talking about the DSs.
I
Because
didn't even
I
realize
saw
that
it down.
until now.
I think that would be really, really fun. And I think that is completely realistic.
Wow. I think it's gonna happen. Let's put the Mets in. So the question is, who will win the World Series? Yankees or
Matt.
Mets? I
Now,
think I know who you want,
of course, we know who I want up
but
here, but
let's be honest. I don't see the Yankees beating the Mets.
I think it's a big if. I think that the Yankees are going to be consistently mediocre for as much as a World Series team goes. I think that it's going to solely come down to if the Mets perform the World Series and in the playoffs.
I think if the Mets do what we think they can do, I think they win, no doubt.
I think so too.
However,
do that. Exactly.
I don't think the Mets will have a decent year. I think they're either going to have a really good year or they're going to completely suck.
Okay.
I don't see them having like just a decent year.
Okay. I'm gonna leave the decision up to you though to avoid bias because I could see this going either way.
I'm gonna go Mets.
Okay. I was leaning that way too. It pains me to say it, but if I'm gonna lose to a team, I'd rather be the Mets over the Dodgers or somebody like that. I know that that's a rivalry, but it's better than a lot of other options, in my opinion.
Plus, why not the Subway Series for the World Series?
I think that'd be really fun. I think that'd be cool to watch.
I think the last time it happened, and I think maybe the only time it happened was 2000.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, you're right.
Looking at your poster behind you, it didn't go this way, unfortunately.
Yeah, they won in 2000, but it might be the other way around there.
I'm excited. If this happens, that'll be great.
I'm excited too. I think there's a lot of interesting teams that are going to be in the playoffs this year. I think the White Sox are up and coming. I think the Padres are up and coming. I think the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Mets are at their prime right now. And I think that prime is slipping away for all three teams. I think that there's going to be a rollover in who the best teams are going to be in the next few years. And I'm honestly excited. I don't mind that. But
yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. Because we could have nailed it head on. We could get something right, something wrong, or we could be completely wrong.
We could be completely wrong. But okay. So that was our first episode here. Our goal is to make this completely about our opinion on a load of different topics. We don't want to talk about anything in particular too much. But we hope that you engage with us, whether that be on Instagram or comments. We hope that you enjoyed and give us feedback on what people might want to see. We have a lot of ideas and we hope it all works out. But yeah, I hope that everyone enjoyed. And you have any last comments, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, so right now we're basically planning on putting this on YouTube, but eventually maybe putting this on Spotify or Apple or anything like that. Anywhere you get podcasts, I'm not sure exactly where. I don't personally listen to a lot of podcasts, other than on YouTube. But I definitely think this could be an interesting idea, and I hope we have a lot of success doing it. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you have any suggestions or comments, or you want to see us talk about anything in particular, or want to weigh in on this MLB ranking, put it in a comment down below. And And please make sure to share this to all your family and friends who might be interested in baseball or seasonal snacks. And please subscribe.
Yep. All right. We'll see you.
This has been Pete and Phil, and this is Our Take.